What's up, YouTube? It's Jennie YGO, and this weekend Irish Nats just happened, and as you may be able to see by the mat, I topped. This is the first nationals that I went to, and I got top 8 with Crystron Kashtira, which I was super happy to do. I'm just going to get straight into it and explain my choices, but before I do, I want to give a few shoutouts. First, shout out to my team Awesome Sauce. We're still workshopping the name. That's Sia, Lulu, Dylan, and Ethan. They're all a great help to me, getting me cards, helping me test, and just being there to cheer me on. So huge thank you to them. Shout out to Lily, Vlad, Luke Murta, and James Brown and Cahill, who I was going up to throughout the event and telling about my matches, even though they probably didn't want to hear. But it was really fun to just have people that I knew and was comfortable around. So big shout outs to them. Shout out to all my opponents. They were all very nice and very pleasant to talk to. Shout outs to the staff. It was a very well run event. Shout out to Michael Donnelly Gamer for playing bad cards. Shout out to my partner for understanding that I went away for a weekend to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And finally, shout out to my brother, who without I would not be playing Yu-Gi-Oh! So huge shout outs to my brother. Before we get in, I'll just go over my matchups. So round 1, I played against Fiendsmith Kashtira. I lost the die roll, but I won 2-0. Round 2, I played against Malice. I lost the die roll, and I went 0-2. Round 3, against Mitsu Raziel, I won the die roll, and I won 2-1. Round 4, I played against Horace Stun. I won the die roll, and I won 2-1. Round 5, I played against Malice, and I believe I lost the die roll, but I won 2-0. Round 6, I played against Pure Raziel. I won the die roll, and I won 2-0, I believe. Round 7, I played against Mitsu Raziel. I lost the die roll, and I went 0-2. Round 8, I played against Mitsu Raziel Fiendsmith. I lost the die roll, but I went 2-1. Then top 16, I played against Malice on the feature match versus last year's champion. I lost the die roll, and I won 2-1. And top 8, I played against Millennium Fiendsmith Azamina, which I was not prepared for. I lost the die roll, and I lost 0-2, unfortunately. But I was very happy with the run. I was expecting to only go X3 at most, so to get to top 8 was a huge accomplishment, and I'm very happy. But with that, I will just start going over the deck, and we'll start with the main deck. For Crystrons, I played 3 of all the good ones. 3 Tristeros, 3 Smyger, 3 Sulfador, 2 Sylphefnir, 1 Thistfern, 1 Turtle, 1 Citri, 3 Inclusion, 1 Cluster, 1 Foolish Burial. So, the 3 Tristeros. So some people like to play 2 because they don't really want to open it. However, when you're playing Kashtira cards, you absolutely do want to see Tristeros, because getting to special summon Unicorn and then normal summon Tristeros before doing any other actions is so good. And it's especially good sometimes if you go activate Unicorn, they might chain Impermerveiler, you can chain Tristeros to summon a Smyger and go into Centurion Legatia, which not only gets you a Smyger grave, a Tristeros engrave, your birth off of Unicorn, it also gets you a draw off Legatia, which is very nice. But aside from that, I really loved 3 Tristeros. It's great for going first to play around interaction, and it's great for going second to play into boards. Definitely my favorite card in the deck, and I would not cut it down at all. 3 Smyger, it's pretty standard. It's like your worst. You don't really want to be normal summoning Smyger into Clockwork Knight, but there are some hands where you have to do that. And it can sometimes work out, it sometimes doesn't. But yeah, you wouldn't play any less of Smyger because it's just such a good card, and you really want to grab Inclusion, which I also played 3 of because it's the second best card in the deck after Tristeros. Getting to search any Crystron card is huge. I actually had an opponent who didn't know it was any Crystron card and not monster, because I sometimes search Cluster off of it. So yeah, very good card. 3 Sulfador, this is probably the weirdest inclusion. I played 3 Sulfador over 3 Sylphefnir because you can special a Kashtira monster and then normal summon Sulfador. So it led to more hands that were, playable or allowed you to make some plays. And Sylphefnir doesn't do enough. It doesn't do anything on its own. And when I played 3, I kept drawing like double Sylphefnir, which is horrible. but I did want to play 5 level 5s, so I went with this ratio, and I was very, very happy with it. For the one-ofs, I played 1 Thistferns, probably one of my personal favorite Crystrons. It just searches a monster by banishing it from grave. Really nice with the turtle, who specials a Crystron from hand. This came up a few times, and I would definitely not cut it because I really liked it, and it worked out really well for me. And the 1 Sitri, some people are citing it. However, I like it in the main deck. I did draw it a fair few times. In fact, in my first 2 matches, I drew Sitri 4 games out of 4, which was unfortunate. But, you know, I probably should have sided out versus Malice game 2. But I decided I wanted to keep it in, and it didn't really matter in the end because the rest of my hand just wasn't great. 1 Cluster, this is like Virtual World Chuche, if Virtual World Chuche was good anymore. Very good card. Very good into Malice. Sometimes a lot of opponents forget that you cannot have your Crystron stuff banished because of Cluster, which is so huge. My round 5 Malice opponent forgot about that and went into Heart's Cryptor and then couldn't remove stuff. So it was very nice. And 1 Foolish Burial is just extra consistency. Very good card. Very glad I included it. So yeah, a lot of names. I want to open playable as often as possible, and I want to play through stuff as often as possible, so that's why we played 3 Tristeros and the rest of the ratios. But yeah, I was very happy with the Crystron ratios. I don't think I would change anything about those. Next, the Kashtira cards. So I only played 3 Unicorn, 1 Fenrir, 1 Birth. This was because I wanted a good matchup into Mitsu, and Mitsu Ryziel specifically, and Detonator kind of cooks Wraitsoth, which is why I didn't play Wraitsoth. And Dedo also counters Goldsark, which I didn't like, so I didn't want to play the Horus stuff. But yeah, 3 Unicorn because we aren't playing Wraitsoth, so we want to max out on Unicorn because we want to see it. Brilliant card, getting to search Birth and getting to always have more stuff to do, especially under Lancia, is very nice. The 1 Fenrir, I was on 2 until a week before the event, and then I cut it, a main deck Nib, and a main deck Talons to fit in 3 Imperm, and I'm really glad I did that, because you don't really want to draw Fenrir all too often, and it's a very good card, and I love it very dearly, but I decided it was best to cut it down to 1. I still played the 1 because I wanted a 4th level 7 to be able to summon from my hand to combo with Tristeros, but yeah, and I played Fenrir because it works with Birth. And Birth is crazy good. It's very good against Mitsu because they'll activate Ritual and then they'll attempt to go Kusanagi, target Ritual, and you can go Chainlink 2 Birth, banish the Ritual. So very nice card, and very glad I played it because it made the Mitsu Ryziel matchup not very in my favor, but a lot more in my favor than it would be otherwise. And it's one of the harder matchups for this deck, so I wanted to make it one of my best matchups. Then for non-engine, I played 3 Fua. Shout out to Sia and Dylan for getting me Fuas. Would not have been able to get as far as I did without it. 3 Droll. It's this format. I don't own Perulias because they cost too much, but I recommend playing Perulia. But these were the only, I guess you could say, turn-ending hand traps that I could afford, so I played them. I played 3 Ash to counter Mulch Armies, and it's not terrible into Mitsu if you Ash the Ritual summon from deck. I played 3 Droplet because it works very well with Crystrons, with them, having grave effects. I played 1 Callby to counter, hand traps. And I played 3 Imperm, as I mentioned before, which I'm very glad I did because I needed more interaction to stop Malice, and I feel like Droll and Ash weren't cutting it. Just, Droll and Ash aren't very good into Malice, and having Fenrir, Nib, and Talons, they just didn't feel like great slots. So I decided to play 3 Imperm, and I'm very glad I did because it definitely helped in a lot of matchups. Not much to say about non-engine. If you have Perulias, I'd probably play it over 3 Imperm, but 3 Imperm works wonders for me. So I'm very happy with my non-engine choices, to be honest. And that concludes the main deck. It is 40 cards. I don't really like to play over 40. Usually the most I'll play is 43, 44. But I like to keep it around 40 because I like to be consistent. For the extra deck, we only played one fusion, obviously. It's Invoked Mechaba. You summon this off of Nova if your opponent ever tries to remove it, specifically with Nibiru. If they ever try to nib you on Nova Tristeros, you get to Tristeros summon Samurai Destroyer. And then Nova brings out Mechaba, and Samurai Destroyer brings out the Nova from Grave, so you're able to still go into Infinity. Didn't come up at the weekend, but I wouldn't cut it because it's, you know, you want it for insurance. For the Synchros, I played 1 Dawn Dragster, 2 Escaletas, 1 Samurai Destroyer, Dragon Mech, Quarion Gandrax, Legacia. So 7 Synchros. I did not miss the second Dawn Dragster ever. I only ever wanted to summon the 1, so I'm glad I just played the 1. 2 Esk, you definitely need to play 2 Esk because you'll lose your first one on the first turn and you want to shuffle back something else, you know, other than your Synchros, and then you get to make the second one on turn 3. Would not play less, probably wouldn't play more either. Just a very good card in the deck. Samurai Destroyer, it's for Nibiru, really. It's Nib Protection with Tristeros, because when it leaves the field, you get to special summon a machine from your grave, so that can be, and your deck's all machines, so that's perfect. I played 1 Vermilion Dragon Mech. This was my level 9 synchro of choice to work with the Kashtiras and Tristeros. I chose Dragon Mech because I wanted to be able to activate Tristeros and Grave, destroy the Dragon Mech, summon Sulfador, and go Chainlink 1 Sulfador, Chainlink 2 Dragon Mech to chain block the Sulfador. Very glad I went with it. I only ever made it to pop with Tristeros, but its own pop effect can come up. Quarion Gandrax, very good card. I summoned it maybe 3 times this weekend, and I never summoned it on my opponent's turn. It was only ever on turn 2 or turn 4, you know, to clean up the board. Very good card, would not cut it, very strong. Legacia, I summoned Legacia 2 or 3 times. It's mostly there to dodge Imperm on Unicorn, as I mentioned before, but also to dodge Imperm on Sulfador, because then you can summon another 5 like Sulfefnir, go into Legacia, and still resolve your Sulfador. So, very good card, would not cut it, came up a fair bit. Then for the Xyz, I played more Xyz than usually get played in the deck. I played Nova Infinity, I played Vimana, I played Zeus, and I played Typhon. So Nova Infinity is pretty self-explanatory. You get to go Nova with any 2 level 5 machines, and then you get to rank up into Infinity for an Omni-Negate. Infinity is very good going second because you get to just eat up one of your opponent's monsters. So in the feature match, game 3, I took my opponent's Whitebinder, so now they just didn't have Whitebinder access anymore, which is very nice. Vimana didn't come up this weekend, however, it came up a fair bit in testing because it matters in grindy games versus like Memento and Blue Eyes, because getting that monster negate every turn and being able to beat over stuff by attaching your Infinity and Novas in the grave is very nice. It also allows you to have it also works well with Zeus because you can get 3-mat Vimana attack and then overlay for 4-mat Zeus. Zeus didn't come up again. It was for stuff like Memento and Blue Eyes and other rogue matchups, but I didn't see them all weekend. I just saw Mitsu and Malice and Ryziel, so not much to be done there. I still wouldn't cut it because it has come up a lot in testing and I'm very fond of it. Typhon came up a lot. Won me 2 games, I want to say, but it also, you know, I summoned it in positions that were unfavorable and sometimes I didn't win. But that's just the way Typhon works. I wouldn't cut it because it has won me a lot of games in testing and it even won me games at the event. So very happy to play Typhon and very happy with my my extra deck overall. Last 2 cards are Clockwork and SP. Clockwork is for your Smyger 1-card combo, and it also works well with SP because it gives you a link monster so you can get SP's banish effect. SP was alright this weekend. I only summoned it maybe 2 or 3 times, but it wasn't perfect. But I wouldn't cut it either because it's a very good card. Then for the side deck was probably the part of the deck that needs the most work. And I'll just go over it quickly. That was the token of choice. It was 3 Lancia for Mirror and for the Malice matchup. 2 Phantasme because I don't own Meowls and I wanted another card to side in versus Malice. 1 Chaos Hunter, again, trying to side into Malice. 2 Nibiru, this was for Blue Eyes and other rogue matchups that I didn't see. 1 Talent, 2 Lightning Storm, this was just for rogue matchups and sometimes siding in versus different matchups that called for it, but I never sided it in. 1 Clockwork Knight and 3 Judgment. I just want to talk about Clockwork Knight real quick. The idea with this is that because you're playing Kashtira cards, you're able to send Kashtira Birth, or you can send Crystron Inclusion to search this. And what it does is it makes all monsters on the field become machine, and your monsters gain 500, and your opponent's monsters lose 500. So what this matters against is it matters versus pure Mitsu, because all their stuff on field is machines. And it matters versus Malice, because, you know, they're machines, they can't make any other Cyber links. So, very nice card. I sided it in whenever I was going first against Malice or Pure I would side it in versus Pure Mitsu if I saw it. But versus Malice going first, I always sided it in, but I never saw it, or I never saw Birth with it. So, it didn't really come up, but I would still play it because the theory was sound. 3 Judgment was also for going first, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Versus Malice Game 2 on the feature, I held the Judgment like it was my job until they summoned Bomber Dragon. I Judgmented the summon, and they scooped on the spot because it's good to hold Judgment for when your opponent tries to make a big push. Nibiru, I also didn't side in alongside Lightning Storm the whole weekend. Just didn't see the matchups where I wanted to side it in. Talents wasn't great this event. Anytime I sided it in for going first, it was always dead. And going second, anytime I sided it in, I didn't see it. Phantasme, I didn't see all weekend, but again, play Meowls instead if you have them. I just don't because they're expensive. Chaos Hunter was because I wanted a 6th card to side into Malice. So I decided to play Chaos Hunter instead of a 3rd Phantasme. And I wouldn't cut it, but I also did see it all event, so you can do with that information what you will. But yeah, that was the deck, and I was very happy with how it performed. The only thing I would change is probably the side deck. I'd try and guess Meowls or Perulia, and I'd possibly play other forms of removal other than Lightning Storm. Might try figure out if I want to play something like Xyz's Encore. I did think about playing that because I know Castel Featherstorm is running rampant, but I decided that it wasn't necessary. But yeah, that was the deck, and I'm very happy with how it played. I'm very glad to have done so well with it. It's probably my favorite deck ever. I adore Crystron. And yeah, thank you for watching, and if you'd like to see more, you can always subscribe and like the video and share it with your friends. But yeah, that is my Crystron Cash Top 8 Irish Nationals 2025 video. And thank you for watching, and bye-bye.